The transition from high school to college can be one of the most difficult times in someone's life. I came from a big high school in a nice town where not going to college was unheard of, so for me, I didn't give going to college much thought except for the fact that I was going. I had grown up in what I call a bubble. I had 2 parents, a good education, and a home, but it wasn't until college that I realized what the world is like outside of my bubble. During my first semester of college, I experienced what is called a themed learning community. 3 of my classes working together in order to teach the color of crime. Through the introduction to the American criminal justice system with Dr. Garcia, the survey of culture of African Americans with Mr. Housley, and current topics in public affairs with Mr. Pride. Throughout this video, I will be telling my story by reflecting on what I have learned in current topics in public affairs and my TLC. A big takeaway I had from my TLC was from Dr. Garcia's criminal justice class. I now know that individuals going through or have been through the criminal justice system are no less than or different than you and me. Throughout all my classes in my TLC, I have learned how the criminal justice system can set up people of low socioeconomic class and people of color for failure within the criminal justice system. According to the broken window theory by James Wilson and George Kelling, if a window is broken and no one fixes it, other windows will be broken as well. Therefore, deteriorating communities will attract criminals, thus creating an increase in crime. According to the Unified Crime Report, or UCR, 2/3 of people arrested are Caucasian, but African Americans are disproportionately arrested for more serious crimes. When looking at Michelle Alexander's New Jim Crow, we learned that during the war on drugs, African Americans were targeted by police, making them more likely to be arrested for minor, nonviolent crimes. Even though much time has passed since this, we still see a significant amount of implicit bias within our law enforcement. Implicit bias is the unconscious negative attitude or belief of a specific group of people developed through indirect messages from peers, authority figures, and the media. An implicit bias can be dangerous within law enforcement because it creates a likelihood of minorities getting arrested. After learning these concepts, I have become more aware of my community and why the criminal justice system works the way it does. This knowledge will allow me to think critically in my possible future career in the criminal justice field. Many argue that learning history is pointless and the past should remain in the past. However, I believe that learning history is vital and being able to learn from past mistakes or adapt and evolve historical ideas and concepts is important. For example, in Mr. Housley's class, we spent a large portion of class discussing Booker T. Washington and W.E.B. Du Bois' perspectives on the advancement of the Black race post-Emancipation Proclamation. Washington has what we call a bottom-up approach, meaning that Black individuals should begin their advancement with skills already obtained from previous years of slavery. Du Bois had a top-down approach, meaning that the most achieved, educated, and successful individuals of the Black race should influence and educate remaining members of the race and be seen as role models. He referred to these highly achieved as the talented 10th, as in the top % of the Black race. During class discussion, we compared and contrasted the 2 perspectives and came to an agreement that while both points of view have their flaws, they both bring great ideas. Having those 2 concepts to reflect and reference as a part of our history is important to consider, especially when discussing racial issues within the criminal justice field. Having knowledge of this history will immensely help me in my future. One of the best ways for me to learn are hands-on, real-life experiences. During Mr. Pride's current topics and current affairs class, the class took a field trip to the City-County building where we received a tour. While visiting the City-County building, we learned how the process of parole works and discussed the electronic monitoring device worn by offenders on their ankle during house arrest or on parole. After this, we also visited Duval Residential Facility. This type of facility is called work release and is designed to transition previously incarcerated men into becoming law-abiding members of society by providing them with a place to reside during the evenings while they work a job during the day. During the tour, we saw where the residents' case management took place, where residents slept and ate meals, and discussed different resources provided, such as a nurse who helped residents get insurance, as well as programs that helped residents to get jobs. Before learning about residential facilities like Duval, I was completely unaware of the importance of the transition from incarceration back into mainstream society. I believe that creating and implementing programs like the ones within Duval should become more common within the criminal justice system. Having this belief will keep me inspired and motivated during my possible future in the criminal justice field. In conclusion, the concepts, ideas, and experiences I have obtained through my themed learning community have opened up my mind to a world outside of my bubble. Being able to understand the different perspectives and ideas about racial issues within society and the criminal justice system as well, and just in general how it works, is something that will provide me with insight no matter how or where a future career may take me. Through each of these courses, I have understood the importance of being able to apply knowledge to life and use it to become as successful and to positively impact the world as best as I can.